Good morning. This is your Sunday Squad update. Squad stands for Social, Cultural Unity, and Diversity. Our mission is to cultivate unity and cultural humility through courageous conversations. Today we'll have a few squad members talk about some of the activities that we took part in 2022. Before we start, I'd like to take a few moments to acknowledge some of the pain and fear that some of us in the church may be feeling. Just within this last week, there have been more acts of war, killings, shootings, beatings, and other acts of violence that have made national news. If we're going to be peacemakers in this strife-filled and unjust world, we have to put first our own serenity and peace with God, within ourselves, and with our spiritual family. In John chapter 14, right before Jesus is going to die his own violent death, he's comforting his disciples who are afraid because he's going to be leaving them. And in verse 27, the New Living Translation says, I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift that the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. I want to encourage each one of us to be courageous and not give in to fear. Instead, let's focus to make this church a safe space where each and every person can feel the peace and serenity that God provides, even in these troubled times. And with that, let's hear from our squad members.
I get to give you our 2022 squad update for our Familia Latina. We identified the challenges of those whom culturally and linguistically lacked community in an all-American setting. We formed a subcommittee to address the identified needs. We collected contact information for all the Spanish and Portuguese-speaking church members. We surveyed the attendees at Olivia's annual Hispanic Heritage Celebration. We had a Zoom meeting to brainstorm the next steps with several Spanish speakers in our church wanting to invest into building this community. Community and inclusion is happening in our Hispanic community at church, and we're excited to see where this leads in the coming year for 2023.
One of the absolute highlights for the squad in 2022 was the diversity training class, which was led by two wonderful couples from the North River Church of Christ, Kendall and Diane Knight and Bob and Adrian Keene. 40 disciples representing every region and ministry in the Northern Virginia Church of Christ, comprising full-time staff, elders and wives, and many house church leaders, met bi-monthly for 4 months. I've done lots of diversity training in my 25 years with my federal government career. Much of that training was about rules and regulations. The church's training, on the other hand, helped open my eyes and heart to the views and experiences of others that were often not like mine. In particular, the assignment to get with disciples outside of class who didn't have your same background was life-changing. I was shocked and saddened to hear some of the personal experiences of racism that still exist in America. I'm grateful that Jesus is the answer. I would highly recommend this training to everyone in the church.
One of the cool things about being on the squad is that we're all lifelong learners, just curious people. And like you, striving to be great disciples, great students of Jesus, of the scriptures, and of people. And one of the things that's really helped us with that is the books that we read, especially last year. We read quite a few books. We read Wide Awake, we read Crossing the Line, we read Faithful Anti-Racism, and a book called Be the Bridge, Pursuing God's Heart for Racial Reconciliation. And these books really have enlarged our mind to understand how to sit in someone else's perspective, even an opposing perspective to our own, and be able to learn from them. It also has been great to see the effort that these authors have taken to have a biblical perspective on issues of race, culture, and other social issues. And so we are so excited to continue learning and growing together in this new year.
One last item is our Courageous Conversation series. In order to help the church be more prepared to have difficult discussions about important topics that may cause disunity if not handled well, we prepared lessons for the 5th midweek We also had people share on our Sunday squad updates, and we put together very specific videos on topics that would be able to help each one of us do a better job at having courageous conversations. We hope that these helped, and we look forward to continuing this work throughout 2023. Thank you so much for your support, and I want to thank each and every squad member for all their hard work this past year. In 2023, we'll be swapping in some new members, and we look forward to continuing the work that God has put before us.